So a good collector sent in this incredible collection of Michelin posters. You never see these posters all together. I have 3 of them that I'm gonna show you right now. This first one is hands down the rarest of the group. This is 1898. It's the green variant with red text of Bibendum. Now, Bibendum is the Michelin Man. That's actually his name, if you didn't know that. And the translation of Bibendum is to drink. And so what this poster is saying is it's time, or now it's time to drink. And it's incredible because this fantastic illustration, which is also kind of creepy, shows Bibendum, the Michelin Man, raising a glass of nails, horseshoes, shards of metal, and he's drinking. He's about to drink all of this nasty stuff found on the streets in France. Now, it also shows 2 other deflated tire men. They couldn't keep up. The Michelin Man is the only tire that can withstand all of this garbage that would be on the roads in France in the late 1800s. Now, the Michelin Man was created by the artist Gallo, and all these posters, all 3 posters, were designed by Gallo. The Michelin brothers contracted this artist, Gallo, to design the Michelin Man. Now, when they asked him to design it, they had this concept. They were at a trade show and they saw a stack of tires, and one of the brothers said, "Hey, that looks like a man standing there. Wouldn't that be a cool logo?" So they told that to Gallo, and he came up with the design of the Michelin Man, this big, fat tire guy. And the artist Gallo actually had done an illustration for a German beer company that was never used. And he created this heavy-set guy raising a glass, and he named him Bibendum. Now it's time to drink. So when the Michelin brothers contracted the artist to create the Michelin Man, he already had the concept. He presented to them. They loved it, and Bibendum was born. Now, this poster, incredible. It's actually in really good condition. It's been mounted to an old canvas, which we're gonna remove. But let's take a look at the other 2, because they are equally as cool. So equally as cool, this poster is from around 1913. This is showing the sole of Bibendum's shoe as the tread of a tire. Just showing, he's not only made of tires, he has the same traction that the tires have. This is the more common variant. It's blue. Blue and yellow, which we know is Michelin's color scheme. But before this poster was produced, they produced a red variant, which is far rarer and has a little more value. Now, these are all valuable, incredibly valuable posters. Of the red and blue variants, the red is harder to come by. But what's really incredible is that we have all 3 of these posters, 1898 to 1913. Incredible. You never see these posters together. What we're gonna do today is I'm gonna focus on the rarest of the 3, the 1898. It's been mounted, like I said, to a canvas backing. From the look of it, it was probably mounted to this canvas at least 50 years ago. It's starting to show signs of mold, foxing. I can tell that it was done properly with a water-based adhesive, but clearly it's seen better days. It's probably been exposed to moisture, which is why it's foxing. There's some mold growing on it. We have to get rid of all of that. Bring the poster back to its original state before we can then linen back it and do any color and paper restoration to the face of the poster. Now, these 3 posters collectively are about $100,000 in vintage posters. This one, arguably the rarest and most expensive, upwards of $35,000, maybe $40,000 at auction. The other two are gonna come in between $30,000 to $35,000. Incredible collection. I can't wait to get involved with the restoration of this poster and finish it, ship it to our client, because he's gonna be psyched when he gets this poster back. Okay, so I'm gonna start the process of removing the canvas and paper from the back of this poster. Remember, it's got all this foxing, all of these brown spots that are really just doing damage to the poster. And the poster looks like it's in pretty good condition already, but we've got to get this old canvas off so that it doesn't start to degrade the poster. So the first step is to get this poster nice and flat on the table. And it's really important to get this canvas off of the paper. I've already started a little section right here. If I were to take this poster with the canvas on it and dump it in the bath of water, the canvas would shrink, the paper would expand, and it could potentially do damage to the poster. So first step is going to be to get rid of this canvas off the back. And we got to get a little edge going here. And I'm just going to carefully remove. Look, you can see right here, moisture's gotten to the canvas. It's already leached through the canvas into this paper and would start yellowing the poster. We want to get rid of that. And this looks very easy. It's not. You can really do damage to the poster if you do this the wrong way. I've done 100,000 of these, so there's some muscle memory here. I can feel, you know, the strength of the paper. I know what angle to tear that off. There we go. So now that all the canvas is off, I am going to take this poster and we're gonna move over to the washing bath where I'm gonna submerge this poster in a bath of water and we're gonna get the paper off of the back so that we can then linen back it to archival paper and canvas. All right, now for the fun part. We're gonna wash this poster and remove this paper on the back that has the foxing and the acidity in it. So I'm gonna just lay this down here, hold it down with these sponges, get some warm water. And you know, everybody freaks out when they see this. It seems so counterintuitive to just pour water on paper. Most people think the paper is going to disintegrate, that the inks are gonna run off. This poster, most posters that we work on, were printed with an oil-based ink, and they were, they're lithographs. This is a stone lithograph, and the way this poster was printed was by pressing a roller on top of a piece of paper that was laid on a limestone. What that did was the ink was pressed into the paper fibers. So in this case, the ink on this poster is really part of the paper fiber, which is why the inks just, they won't change. They won't run, they won't fade. And although I'm making this look easy, don't try this at home. This is incredibly delicate and can be incredibly risky if you're not using the proper materials and you don't know what you're doing. I've done this, like I said, 100,000 times, so I understand how the paper reacts when it gets wet. I understand how the inks react. So this really should be done by a trusted professional. Okay, next step, I am gonna introduce a detergent, a mild detergent that's designed specifically for this process. And it's mixed with water. What I'm doing is I'm just gonna spray the face of the poster down with this. This is going to get any surface dirt off the poster. It's just gonna do what detergent does. It's gonna clean the poster. What this does is it really revives the paper fibers. You think of them as sort of like little interwoven straws, and the straws are filled with a little bit of moisture, and that moisture leaves, and that's when the paper starts to get brittle. And we're filling that back up with water, which is rehydrating the paper fibers. It's gonna give it a new lease on life. This is very interesting. This whole corner down here had been previously restored. And this might look, if you look right here, this looks like the ink's running, right? And so you might look at that and say, oh no, the ink is running on the T right here. It's not. That's actually old restoration. And if you watch, I am gonna just wipe that away. And that is where the poster starts and stops. Look at that. So I'm actually gonna get all of that off of the poster. Thankfully, this was all done with water-based materials. But you see what happened? That whole corner was missing. We're gonna recreate that again. All right, so the poster is sitting on a sheet of Mylar. I'm gonna use a second sheet of Mylar to cover it. And that's gonna allow me to handle the poster without doing any damage to it. And I use a squeegee to just get some of the water out. And this is also forcing any of the acidity in the paper that we've been washing out to the end. I mean, this part of the process is so satisfying. Just to see the transformation of the paper, the color of the paper. All right. So I'm gonna flip this over and start taking the paper backing off of it. All right. Now remember, I said don't try this at home because I've done that thousands of times. And if it's done wrong, you can ruin the poster. Okay. So now I'm going to take this Mylar off, exposing the paper backing so that I can then pull this backing off of the poster. Now at that point, the poster is going to be incredibly delicate. Let's see. Put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Now you can see right here, it looks like I just took a piece of paper off, but that's actually old restoration. I'm not worried about that. That is a piece of the paper that we want to keep. So it's really important the direction that I'm pulling this off at this point, because I'm at the most vulnerable part of the poster, and that looks like old restoration, but I'm gonna leave it where it is. So you can see where the poster ends and where the restoration begins. So grab another section here. See that? So that's all old restoration, and that's the poster. And when whoever previously restored this, the way they did it was they just painted right on this paper. They didn't replace the missing paper. When we restore it, we're going to restore it differently. And you'll see that later. And also, whoever previously restored this poster thankfully used a water-based adhesive, a wheat paste. I can tell by the color of this paper that it's archival. It's just, unfortunately, it had been stored improperly, and that foxing and staining needed to be dealt with, which is what we're doing right now. So we're about halfway there. And you can see how delicate this paper is in this state. The poster right now is basically the consistency of wet toilet paper. You can see the entire image through the back of the poster. That's how thin it is. All right, so now I've taken that paper off. It still has a heavy layer of adhesive on the back. I'm gonna rinse it again. I'm gonna get the remaining old restoration off of it, flip it, and do it one more time. The poster, like I said, is in its most vulnerable state right now. It is so thin. It's the consistency of wet toilet paper. And if I were to just run water over it without this window screen, I could do a lot of damage to the poster. So this window screen is just stabilizing. It's allowing me to wash the back of the poster, get that adhesive off, get this old restoration out of the washing bath, down the drain. So now, I'm gonna roll this window screen off. All the water has gone down the drain. There's still a little bit left. This window screen is, as you can see, it's pushing the water out of the bath, out between the poster and the paper. And what I'm doing is I'm getting it nice and flat, getting rid of all the air bubbles, getting as much water out as I can so that the poster is stabilized in between these two sheets of Mylar. That'll allow me to flip it over. So it's interesting. The reason it looks brighter is the colors, actually. The paper looks brighter already, and some of the paper in the image. That's because that acid has left the paper. So anywhere that you see paper coming through, that's going to brighten up. Now, the way color and light work is a color is going to be brighter if it's on a bright substrate, a bright piece of paper. Because what happens is light has to go through the color and bounce off of the paper. So if the paper is brighter, that inherently is going to make these colors look brighter. The other reason is just surface dirt. That mild detergent that I used, that is going to just get any of the surface dirt on the poster off the poster. Okay, we're going to do one more rinse. I've now worked with this poster for the last hour or so. I have a good sense of how durable the paper is. And actually, wood pulp paper is incredibly durable. This type of poster, a poster from 1898, is in a way easier to work on than a poster from the 80s. This poster is known for its green variant, this green background with red lettering. And before, you couldn't really tell it was green. It just looked dark. It looked almost like a dark brown, but now that green is really popping. And once this poster is linen backed and dry, it's really gonna pop. We're gonna hand this over to Josh, who does our linen backing, and he's gonna linen back it. So the first step of the linen backing process is mounting a piece of archival paper to canvas, which Josh has already done. The paper actually is milled specifically for this use. It's the only paper that works with this process. We have the paper made for us. We have a huge archive of it. We'll never run out. Once that paper's been mounted to the canvas, Josh will apply a healthy layer of wheat paste, and that's what he's spraying on the back of the poster. That is a flour and water mixture. It's a little more intricate than flour and water because it is all archival. It's not like baking flour. So that flour and water mixture gets sprayed onto the back of the poster. Then Josh will brush it out evenly, use a roller to even out that paste, get just a nice even coat of paste on the back of the poster. And this is why it's so important to prep the poster before this step, because it's an aqueous process. The wheat paste is water-based, and it has to soak into the paper fibers of the poster. So at this point, Josh is gonna lift the poster up. So Josh is mounting the poster to the center of the frame. Again, there's a canvas stretched onto the back of that frame. Paper is mounted to that canvas. Now the poster is adhered to that paper. Josh is going to use a brush to brush out any air bubbles, just even that paste out. Then use a roller to make that final bond between the poster and that paper. Once that's completed, Josh will use a sponge to wipe off any excess paste that's come through the edges of the poster or through any tears or holes in the paper and off. But there's still some residue on the face of the poster. Josh will get that off with a sponge as best he can. And then the poster will go into a rack to dry overnight so that tomorrow Jess can start doing color restoration and reconstructive surgery to that lower left-hand corner of the poster. Okay, so the poster has dried overnight and it has been in the rack. And as you can see, it's nice and tight like a drum and ready for restoration. I'm gonna hand it over to Jess so she can finish the final color restoration and paper replacement of this poster. Okay, so Jess, I think what we start with is one big piece instead of trying to cut out every letter, right?
Yep.
So one big piece of paper, we can do that from a donor poster. Let me explain what a donor poster is. These are posters that are either not worth restoring, they just don't have any value. A poster like this one, it's just in really rough condition. The poster might not all be there. So we call it a donor poster. We're using it, it's like donating your kidney to science. We'll use this poster to replace an area of missing paper on the poster that actually has value. So, yeah. No, I think you can, I don't know if it's your decision if you want to tint it before or after, but I love the fact that this has a natural edge too, so it's not perfectly crisp.
Yeah.
Because the edge of the poster has a little bit of a tooth to it. I think that's the piece.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right, Jess, ready for the big reveal?
Yes.
This is the final product. Bibendum has never looked better. Jess, again, phenomenal job on the restoration. If you remember what it looked like before, it's an entirely new poster. There's no seam. You can't tell that all that text was missing, all that paper was missing, all the little tears, pieces around the margins that were all missing are now back in place. The poster looks phenomenal. Not only is the restoration great, but when we washed it, it brightened up all the light areas of the poster. This green now really pops against the red. Jess, it looks amazing. I cannot wait for the client to see the incredible work you did on this poster.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It is a good one. When this poster came in the condition that it was in, I would have valued it around $10,000 to $15,000. Now that we've done this restoration, brightened it up, redid all of the old restoration that was on there, got rid of all of the foxing and mold, I would estimate this poster would bring at least $35,000 to $40,000 at auction. Thanks for coming along on this journey with us. Poster conservation, remember, we are the art behind the art.